Hello beautiful people, welcome back to Tech Education in Early Childhood on Amogate Radio Communications. I am Anointed Excel, and today we are flipping the script on everything you thought you knew about tech education. You know what I love most about our journey together? Every single week we peel back another layer, digging into what's really happening in education all over the world. We've talked about the struggles, the fear, the readiness gap, and last week was so special. We celebrated those amazing teachers who are literally making magic happen. But today is going to be very different. We are going somewhere brand new. We are talking about teachers, schools, and communities that don't have any device, no internet, and sometimes even steady electricity. And yet, they are teaching computational thinking, digital skills, and 21st century mindset better than some schools with million-dollar tech budgets. Today's episode is titled Universal Innovation: How resource-constrained regions are teaching the world tech without devices. And listen, this isn't just about making do with less. This is about something bigger. It's about discovering that some of the most powerful, innovative teaching happens when you strip away all fancy gadgets and get right down with what really matters. How we think, how we solve problems, and how we create. But before we dive into today's topic, let's quickly take a recap on what we did last week. In our last episode, we celebrated those incredible digital learning facilitators who are game all over the world. We saw teacher Grace in Kenya, one tablet, one solar charger, reaching out to 35 students. We met teacher Priya in India, rocking digital learning with 80 kids in one classroom. We learned that this revolution isn't about having the best tech, it's about having the right mindset. But after that episode, it left me with one question. I kept thinking, what about teachers who don't have any devices at all? What about schools where the electricity comes and goes? What about communities where buying one tablet means choosing between technology and textbooks? Are these kids just going to be left behind? Turns out that the answer is beautifully and powerfully no. And the proof? It comes from the most unexpected places on earth. Let me tell you something happening right now that's going to blow your mind. In rural villages across Africa, Asia, and Latin America, kids are learning to code without computers. They understand algorithms without app. They are getting artificial intelligence without the internet. How? Through something researchers called unplugged computer science. Yes, tech without devices. It is called unplugged computer science or tech without devices. And get this, it's not some consolation prize. This is a legit cutting-edge teaching method that's producing kids who understand tech concepts deeper than some kids who grew up swiping on iPads. The University of Canterbury in New Zealand has been studying this over 20 years. Their research shows that children who learn computational thinking through games and physical activities often do better than those who learn through screens. Why? Because when you take away the devices, You can't hide behind cool graphics or just click around till something works. You have to understand the logic, the patterns, the thinking. It turns out that the best way to understand how computers think might be to think without them. I'll repeat that. It turns out that the best way to understand how computers think might be to think without them. Let me take you on a little world tour. In Rwanda, kids are learning algorithm by dancing. They call it dancing algorithms. The teachers calls out height, and students physically sort themselves from the shortest to the tallest. Then talk about it. What strategy did we use? How could we do this faster? It's the same thing they teach in computer science degree, but learning it through movement and collaboration. In Bangladesh, teachers are using origami to teach coding. Kids follow step-by-step instruction to unfold paper animals. Then they write their own instructions for their friends. They are learning sequence, loop, conditions with papers. No laptops needed. In Peru, students learn algorithm design by planning market routes. They use physical maps and little game pieces to figure out the most efficient way for traders to visit different villages. These kids are solving the same kind of problem that powers GPS and delivery apps, but they are doing it with stones and dirt. In Nigeria, they are using storytelling to teach code. Teachers use traditional folk tales to teach if-then logic. If the tortoise is greedy, then what happens? They are learning the same Boolean logic that runs all computing, but through stories their grandparents told. Here's what's so cool. Whether you're in Silicon Valley or rural Sudan, the basic concepts of digital literacy are the same, and lots of them can be taught with no tech at all. Like patterns recognition. In Senegal, kids learn this through traditional textile patterns. They find repeating sequence, predict what's coming next using beads or drawing. Or algorithm thinking. In Nepal, children learn this through cooking recipes, breaking down big tasks into small steps, understanding that order matters. Even decomposition. Students learn this by planning community festivals. They break a huge job into smaller pieces. Decoration, food, music, and cleanup. These aren't dumbed down versions. They are the real core concepts taught in their purest forms. And the evidence behind this unplugged method is overwhelming. MIT's Mitchell Resnick, the man who created Scratch, says it himself. The most important thing about learning to program isn't the programming, it's the thinking behind it. Research from the University of Adelaide found that students who learn computational thinking through unplugged activities first showed 40% better problem-solving skills than those who started on screens. UNESCO did a huge study across 15 countries with 10,000 students. The kids who learned through physical games and activities had better retention, stronger collaboration skills, and more creativity, and way more confidence. Here's the kicker. When these unplugged kids finally got access to the real computers, they learned programming language 60% faster than kids who started with devices. Why? Because they already understood the thinking. the computer was just a new tool to express what they already knew. Some of the most brilliant education innovations are coming from places with biggest constraints. In Utopia, they create human networks. Kids pass message using specific rules, learning how data moves through internet without using paper slips. In India, teachers build cardboard computers, physical interface where students use instruction cards to program their cardboard devices. They see inputs, processing, outputs right in their hands. In Mexico, they turn the playground into a giant programming grid. Kids become the cursor and they follow commands called out by their friends. Forward, turn left, repeat. They are learning loops, conditions through movement. In Ghana, listen to this, they have something called community computing. The whole village gets involved in algorithm challenges. Adults and kids work together to optimize farming schedules or market logistics using traditional methods that totally mirror how computer algorithm works. This isn't just skills. This is communities that are building computational skills that rival what happens in the most high-tech classrooms. And there's real science behind why this works. Research shows that kids learn abstract concepts better when they can touch, move, and use their whole bodies. When students sort themselves to learn sorting algorithms, they are using their bodies, their eyes, their words, and they are working together. That's way more powerful than just clicking through animations on screens alone. It's like what Montessori taught forever ago. When kids can physically engage with an idea, they understand it deeper. That's why students who learn maths with blocks often do better than those who use apps. Same thing with tech. Physical understanding beats digital consumption. These communities aren't missing out. They are actually gaining advantages that high school tech sometimes lose. Like true understanding, when you can't let the software do the work, you really have to get the process. Or creativity, without pre-made tools, you have to invent your own solutions. Or collaboration, physical activities make you talk, negotiate, and work together. Plus, these methods fit right into local culture, using traditions, stories, and games that everyone knows. Teachers don't have to worry about Wi-Fi dropping or software crashing. They can just focus on teaching. And it's accessible, and every kid can join in no matter their learning style or ability. And it's very sustainable too. No need for expensive updates or new devices. Any teacher can start doing this tomorrow with zero tech. You can teach binary numbers with playing cards. Red is 1, black is 0. Suddenly you're already speaking computer. Or try sorting networks. Have kids line up by birthdays or heights and figure out the fastest way to do it. We also have pixel arts using graph paper and colored squares. Now they see how digital images are built. Boolean logic. Use boxes and balls. Put a ball in the box only if it is red and round. You can teach network routing with strings, algorithms with cooking recipe, and data compression with patterns. It's right there, no laptop required. And the coolest part, These innovations from places with less are now spreading all over the world. The Computer Science Unplugged program from New Zealand is used in over 80 countries. The African way of teaching logic through storytelling is being used in American schools. Indian technique using traditional games are being adopted in Australia and Canada. Even big tech companies like Google and Microsoft are creating unplugged resources inspired by these communities. The innovation isn't just flowing from rich to poor anymore. It's flowing from creative to conventional, from innovative to institutional. Schools with huge tech budgets are learning from villages with no tech budgets. They are learning to start with concepts, not tools. Physical before digital. Create before consume. Collaborate before complete. Use what's around you. Help teachers understand deeply before handing them softwares. Some of the most advanced schools now mix unplugged and plugged activity because they know both will make learning stronger. Here's the beautiful thing. Unplugged computer science isn't anti-technology, it's pro-understanding. Kids who learn this way don't struggle when they finally get a computer. They excel. They know tech is a tool, not a magic box. They become creators and not consumers. When students in rural Bangladesh finally get access to these computers, they often learn programming faster than kids in city who have been using computer forever. Why? Because they already know how to think and the computer just gives them a new way to express it. This changes everything about educational equity. We don't have to wait for every school to have devices before we start teaching digital literacy. We don't have to believe that kids without tech are left behind. What we need is a mindset shift. From tech education requires technology to tech education requires thinking. The kids learning through games in Ghana are building some cognitive skills as kids using coding robots in Germany. The difference isn't what they will achieve. The difference is that the unplugged kids often understand it more deeply. No matter where you are, you can start doing something right now. If you are a teacher, try one unplugged activity this week. Use physical objects to teach a digital concept and see how your kids respond. If you are a parent, play a logic game. Tell stories with if-then. Build patterns with whatever you have. You are building computational thinking. No device needed. If you run a school, don't wait for tech budgets. Start with unplugged learning. Any teacher can do it. If you are a policy maker or if you make policy, support training in unplugged computer science. It works, it scales, and it's sustainable. If you are in a resource-rich place, learn from innovators working with less. Sometimes the best idea comes from the tightest constraints. Remember, the goal isn't to avoid tech forever. The goal is to understand it so deeply that when you use it with power and purpose. As we wrap up today's celebration of universal innovations, I want you to remember this. Some of the most important breakthroughs in education aren't coming from Silicon Valley or fancy labs. They are coming from teachers and students who looked at their limits and said, how can we turn this into creativity? Next week, we are diving into another exciting topic: designing a local tech curriculum for age 3 to 10. Follow Amogate on all social media platforms for daily inspirations and resources, and join our Monday to Friday programs where we go deeper, giving you hands-on support to to bring these ideas to life wherever you are. And please, share your unplugged success stories with us, whether you are teaching algorithms through dancing in Detroit or binary beats in Botswana. We want to hear from you. If the future of education isn't about having the most technology, it's about building the deepest thinking, and that can happen anywhere with anything when guided by educators who remember that the most powerful computer will always be the human brains. I am Anointed Olusumboye, and this has been Tech Education in Early Childhood on Amogate Radio Communications. Until next week, keep innovating, keep inspiring, and keep showing that great education truly has no limits. Thank you.
Amogate, founded in 2008 out of a desire to build transgenerational structures for organizations, institutions, and nations. We have worked with large businesses, international development organizations, and public sector ministries and agencies. Amogate, our uniqueness is that we do not just work for you, we work with you. For example, we do not leave you to the task after sourcing talent that will help the new hire settle into robust leadership development programs. We are technical experts in advising and supporting institutions on strategy and leadership, artificial intelligence, strategic human resource management, public sector reform, finance, audit and tax, FAT, and strategic communications. We do all this and more out of a desire to transform nations through institutions and organizations. For further inquiries, email contact@theamogate.org or call +234 810 999 6666 +234 807 957 4151 and +161 0504 6026 www.theamogate.org. Amogate, building to endure and transforming nations through institutions and organizations.